Hello YouTube, it's the Magnum94 here, back with another stupid Nintendo article. Now, I don't think I've ever read an article that was so blatantly clickbait. Now, there are a couple of good points in here, like, sprinkled throughout, I'll give them that. But just the majority of this article, from the title to the last sentence, is clearly pandering to the people who think this way. And that way is the Nintendo Switch and deserving to fail. Now let's get into this. Oh, this is his opinion, by the way. Just keep that in mind. First off, know that I'm a Nintendo fan. I write this not to troll. I just feel it needed to be said. I find myself confused by the blind enthusiasm for Nintendo's newest console, the Switch. Ever since like halfway through the Wii, I've seen countless videos and articles of people starting off their ranting on what Nintendo's doing and how they should change with, I'm a Nintendo fan, so I know what I'm talking about. It's like, I feel like you saying that kind of diminishes the credibility of what you're saying. It's almost like you're trying to pander to both crowds, the people who are diehard like haters of Nintendo, but at the same time you're trying to still keep the Nintendo fan crowd. I feel like these people who do say, oh, I'm a Nintendo fan, so it's okay for me to say this, I feel like those people are not necessarily Nintendo fans. They're more so fans of the atmosphere that surrounded the SNES and 64 and even the GameCube. They appreciated that time period for Nintendo consoles. They liked Nintendo having all third-party support. They liked all those amazing games they made back then, even though they still make great games today, but that's irrelevant to them. And they just want Nintendo to go back to that time period. So them saying they're Nintendo fans, this is just my speculation. I feel like they're more so saying I was a fan of how Nintendo used to be. So if they said I appreciate Nintendo, or even I used to be a Nintendo fan, and doing these things would pull me back in, I feel like that would start off the vibe a bit better for me personally. So, I have always backed Nintendo, a gaming company, over massive electronic companies Sony and Microsoft. The Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games, and my GameCube probably saw more playtime than every other system I have owned combined. It is with frustration and disappointment that I find Nintendo's latest console to be an indefensible miscalculation. What? I'll finish this paragraph. I wanted to want the Switch, but the gimmicky system is another disappointment. It is on the infinite goodwill and patience of their most stalwart supporters that Nintendo continues to repeat past mistakes and ignore the pleas of fans. Hang on. So, what exactly are you saying is the gimmick here? The motion controls? Or the idea that you can take it with you on the go? Because both those aspects Nintendo fans really appreciate. Nintendo's handhelds sell millions. The 3DS is their lowest selling one, minus the Virtual Boy, and that's getting up close to 70 million. And the Wii, even though the majority of people were, I'm not gonna say the majority, but a lot of the people who bought that system were the soccer moms and the grandmas who just wanted to play Wii Sports. There were a lot of people who appreciated playing Zelda Skyward Sword, Metroid Prime games, and even Mario Galaxy with the motion controls. And there were a lot of people who were saying they wanted Breath of the Wild to have some kind of motion control gaming. So, saying that they're ignoring the pleas of their fans isn't exactly right, because they're making this system that appeals to pretty much everyone who's been a Nintendo fan. It'll have the virtual console spanning NES, hopefully through GameCube. It'll have Wii aspects with the Joy-Cons having motion controls. It'll appease the It'll be an HD system, which is what people wanted with the Wii U, but didn't. They got, but like it wasn't fully to the extent of what people had hoped for. It'll be able to take on the go, so it'll definitely be a massive upgrade from the 3DS, which a lot of people have. So, and there were many people who just bought the 3DS and didn't even buy the Wii U because because they wanted the handheld, and the 3DS had much better, and it generally had better games and more games than the Wii U. So combining the handheld and console development divisions means that you can pump more games into the Switch in a shorter period of time. Or at least that's the theory. So in what aspect are they ignoring their fans? If this all goes right, they're going to appeal to literally everyone who's been or will be a Nintendo fan. I'll move on. And again, calling it a gimmick, just anything Nintendo does is a gimmick, is such a buzzword. Like, I swear, I guarantee it, that if Nintendo had done VR first, it would have been considered a gimmick because it's something different. Now, I can't say that for sure. VR is pretty cool, but I feel like the mindshare for it would have been very different had they started off instead of Sony or the Oculus. So, as it stands, Nintendo Switch pre-orders are sold out at various retailers. Perhaps it is simply the excitement that greets any new video game console or shiny new electronic gadget. Or maybe it's the fact that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild looks so darn good. Just as likely is that it is a combination of nostalgia and hope. People want to believe in Nintendo. No company has characters as iconic or its history as deep. Nintendo conjures warm and fuzzy emotions for gaming fans, both current and lapsed. This is a powerful receipt for selective memories and wishful thinking. But if we are trying to be objective, take a step back and ask yourself, what are the real differences between the Wii U and Switch? It's more powerful. The HD rumble is a thing. The gyro controls are even more responsive. You can actually take the gameplay with you more than 10 feet away from your console, regardless if there's walls in the way. I couldn't do that with the Wii U. I couldn't sit in the room above. Like at one time I had to hook it up in the living room downstairs. So, and I tried one time seeing if I could sit on my parents' bed, which was right above the TV, and see if I could play on the gamepad. I couldn't because the floor was in the way. So, yeah, I'm sure he's going to go more into this, but just right off the bat, there are quite a few differences that just makes this system way more appealing. Newer motion controls and an enhanced rumble. Sure. Marginally more powerful? Okay. A seemingly endless combination of playstyles? Alright. But the real difference is portability. Once again, Nintendo seems insistent on providing solutions to problems that don't really exist. Buttons are intimidating. Here, have wave this thing around. Yeah, I've already kind of mentioned this, but it really was a problem during the 8th generation, when the 3DS and Wii U were basically competing against each other. See, there were so many good games on the 3DS that the Wii U just simply didn't get. The Wii U never got a Fire Emblem game. The Wii U never got a real Kirby game. And the 3DS got 2 of each of those franchises. The Wii U never got a solid Pokemon game. It got Pokken, but it never got like a standard mainline Pokemon game. And stuff like Bravely Default. I'm blanking right now, but just there were so many great games on the 3DS. Oh, Kid Icarus Uprising. I would have loved to have a Kid Icarus game on the Wii U, but it just didn't come. If how they're doing it now is how it's going to be, And that means that people who are both console and handheld gamers will both be pleased by the lineup of the Switch. They don't have to buy just one or the other so they can play all the games. They could just buy one system and play your Fire Emblem and your 3D Mario and your Pokemon and your Zeldas all in the same system. So that's one issue that actually existed and this thing is solving. This might be a long video, so just bear with me. We are being sold on the idea that if you're playing Breath of the Wild and someone wants to use the TV, you can just switch to playing it on the tablet. Sound familiar? It was the same pit for the Wii U. See, that's not how Nintendo is marketing this system. Actually, they didn't really market the Wii U that way now I think about it. They're marketing the system more as an optional portable, essentially. Yes, there definitely is the idea that if someone's watching the TV, you can just pick it up and continue playing. But that's not the focus. They're focusing more on on-the-go gaming with your tablet. So it is familiar the way you're saying it here, but that's only one aspect of what the Switch is going to do. This isn't really a problem, as this isn't the 1950s, and most families have more than one television. But hey, true portability is cool. Who wouldn't want to play Zelda on the plane or the subway? Except how portable is that system really? With its multiple pieces that can get lost and the potential cannibalization of their long and successful handheld line, not to mention that the system is decently large in the 3DS and hardly pocket-friendly. I know the counter-argument is look at how many people carry on iPads. Sure, lots of people carry tablets around, but tablets also take pictures, and let you surf the internet, and stream music, movies, and TV, and play video games. There has never been a well, as far as I know, there has never been a dedicated tablet-like gaming device. And I feel like Nintendo is getting around the whole not portability thing by the idea that they're really pushing this as a console first. That can also be taken on the go. And also they're selling bags and pouches and carrying cases for the Switch where you can keep all your games and accessories in there while you take it on the go with you. So, what exactly are you trying to say here about iPads doing all this extra stuff that the Switch will potentially be able to do later down the line? Now, we do know that the Switch won't be sold at launch with a browser or Netflix, and that is something that I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate, but at the same time, not very many people use the internet browsers on their consoles. And plus, everyone has their phone with you, especially since the phone is essentially mandatory for the online anyway on the Switch. You're going to have the phone with you at all times, so just go on the internet with that. I don't necessarily see it as a problem. And also, the 3DS XL wasn't really pocket-friendly either. Like, there were a couple of my pants that I could fit it in, but it wasn't exactly that pocket-friendly either. So, saying that the Switch wasn't pocket-friendly, yet there's so many people with 3DS XLs and new 3DS XLs, I feel like it's a non-issue. People will take care of their stuff. Let's see. Where was I? Sure, lots of people carry tablets around, but tablets... Oh, I have to hang on. With the Switch's less than stellar battery life, is it really worth it? I mentioned this in a previous video. I generally get about 3 to 5, maybe 6 hours at times with my 2DS, which is what I keep here at college. So, having 3 to 6 hours on my Switch is going to be perfect for me personally. And also, USB-C, which is what it charges on, is pretty standard nowadays. So it's not like you're just not gonna be able to charge it while on the go. Just saying. Aftermarket battery packs will likely help, but at that point, dedicated gaming system that lacks this. Wait. At that point, with different necessary pieces adding up, how long before it becomes unwieldy? Which is why one of the main ways of marketing this thing is the tabletop mode. Put the stand out, put it down. That way you don't have to hold it. I feel like Nintendo has thought this through a lot better than people are giving them the credit for. Just throwing that out there. Okay. A dedicated gaming system that lacks the simplistic portability of a 3DS or the versatility of tablets and phones will have difficulty finding a place in today's gadget-filled pockets and bags. Again, there's never necessarily been a dedicated gaming tablet device. And I feel like it'll be the people who have iPads, who play games on iPads like Candy Crush or Angry Birds or whatever else mobile game they play on those, I feel like they're content with what they have. Yet people who are gamers and also carry around tablets, they would appreciate just a more gaming centric tablet, because they feel like they want to play gaming on the go, but all they have is tablet games. So being able to take your Switch on the go with you to play console level games on the go will be appealing to those people. That's not even to mention the people who will buy it simply just to play it at home. Then that's a completely different argument there. Since the Wii, Nintendo has contended that their strategy is that of a blue ocean, that they don't have competitors because they are going after a broader audience. I'll get back to that in a minute. That sounds good on paper and in an investor presentation, but it's a fantasy. True, it worked for the original Wii for a time, but just because you don't acknowledge your competitors does not eliminate them from existence. When parents go Christmas shopping for a game system, they will see three similarly priced options. Now, I'll get back to the blue ocean thing in a minute. He goes on for a little more about that. But why does it seem like people don't ask for what console they want? There were very, very few, at least as far as I know, I could be completely wrong about this. From what I know, there are very few people who just go to the store and buy their kids a game console without the kids even hinting that they want a certain one. Now, that very well could be the case, especially Black Friday impulse buying, but again, which is what people are arguing, but impulse buying a upwards of $400 machine, I don't know, $300 with the Switch and usually the PS4 and Xbox One are about $300 nowadays, but not counting the Pro. But in general, people don't just impulse buy things. That's just not a thing that happens. And also this Christmas, the Scorpio and the Pro will be out, which will be at least $100 more than the Switch. So you're telling me that they see the Switch for $300 and they see the Scorpio and the Pro, I guess they could see. I don't know if the Pro and the Scorpio are successful, then they'll probably then Sony and Microsoft might just go ahead and not kill off, but limit the stock of the original PS4 and Xbox One, leaving the Scorpio and the Pro and the Switch as the main consoles that people will see. So I don't really see an issue with people just going up to the counter and asking the employee, "Oh, which one do you think my son will like best?" Because I'm almost positive that child will at least hint at which one they want. And I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe I'm underthinking this. I don't know. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comment section. But let's move on. Parent. So, which of these three gaming consoles is the best? Nintendo rep. Why would the parents aren't going to be talking to Nintendo reps directly. They're going to be talking to the retailers. They're going to be talking to the people who are standing at the desk, the people who go around at Walmart asking if you need help. They're going to be asking to those people, not necessarily Nintendo reps. But benefit of the doubt, let's just hear them out. Well, it's not really fair to compare them. These two are playing in the red ocean, and what we have here is Nintendo Switch in the blue ocean. Totally different. They don't say that. Reggie has on multiple occasions acknowledged that the PS4 and Xbox One exist. He's actually said that they are a competition. He was asked multiple times back in 2014 when Smash was out. Now, granted, that didn't boost sales too much, but he was talking like, we understand that PS4 and Xbox One are selling better, but we feel like the Wii U is a pretty good option because we have all these amazing games. At this point, about halfway through the Wii U, I feel I never heard the term Blue Ocean come out of Reggie or anyone at Nintendo's mouth. I could be wrong again. I very well could be wrong. But I haven't really heard that term since the Wii generation. And in that case, they very much were focused more on casual gamers. And with the Wii U, right out of the gate, Reggie came out on stage saying that the Switch was... that the Wii U was focused more on the hardcore gamers. They were going to try to get all the third-party support. They were going to try to make the console appealing to people who played on 360 and PS3, so that way they'll look at Nintendo more seriously. I haven't really heard them talk about Blue Ocean strategy much for the Switch, if at all. And Nintendo has on multiple occasions acknowledged that they actually are a competition, but they just feel like their system's better, not because it's the Red Ocean, Blue Ocean thing. Again, they haven't really done this until Wii. I'll move on. Nintendo Rep. Ignore those other two. They're regular gaming consoles. This is what you want. Does this hook up to a TV and play video games? Yeah, but is it a gaming console? Well, yes. They don't think that way. The reason they thought that way for the Wii was because it was a completely different gaming experience. The PS3 and 360 didn't have motion controls till about 2010, I think. Is that when the Move came out? 9 or 10? So they were allowed to think that way, that this system is a completely different experience than the other two, because you literally played a completely different way. The tablet style gaming of the Wii U didn't improve gaming in the same way that the Wii did. So, and especially the Switch doesn't. So, yeah, that little conversation there was not irrelevant, but it's a bit of a stretch. But I'll move on from there. Again, if I'm ever wrong about anything I say, just leave me a comment and we'll have a discussion about it. Like I said, I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just going off hearsay and what I specifically read and analyze and investigate. So if I am wrong about anything here, just let me know, and we'll talk about it. The parent will not be convinced that this is entirely different, and make the distinction between this and the other game systems that have much fuller shelves of games. They're trying to duplicate the Wii strategy and success. They hope that the various playstyles in games like ARMS and 1-2 Switch will bring back those casual Wii fans. This is one reason why I honestly believe that 1-2 Switch should not have been it's a good thing 1-2 Switch is not bundled in with the Switch, because they're clearly trying to distance themselves from the Wii brand, but they still want to have an option there for casual people who saw and who their first real gaming experience was the Wii. They want to keep going with the Wii U and Switch. And ARMS also can be used with a regular controller, which is you can't say the same thing for a lot of Wii games. So yes, in reality, they are technically trying to capture the Wii audience in a way with games like ARM and 1-2 Switch. But they're doing it in a much different way, especially with ARMS, considering first on the Wii, a lot of those motion control centered games, you could tell not a lot of real effort went into them. Whereas ARMS, it seems pretty darn complex. Like, the character designs are very complex. It doesn't just use your Mii's as the fighters like Wii Sports did. What was I gonna say? They had very, very complex mechanics. The stages all look super interesting. There's clearly a lot of effort that went into this game that you really can't say for a lot of Wii games. But 1-2 Switch, yes, that does look kind of like a dumb game and much more in that style. But again, that's the type of game that they are. There definitely is a crowd out there. I mean, the Wii sold over 100 million units. So there definitely is a crowd out there for a game like this. But they don't want to necessarily have that game be what the Switch's image is. That's why whenever they have commercials, they always show 1-2 Switch along with games like ARMS or Mario Kart or Zelda, just stuff like that. Move on. But they forget that those casuals have moved on to smartphones and tablets. Another reason why the Switch being a tablet-like device isn't necessarily the worst idea, but just saying. The first iPhone didn't even come out until 7 months after the original Wii. Now these devices are ubiquitous, and casual gamers remember the amount of dust that covered the Wii's once the novelty wore off. Again, people just seem to completely forget that Nintendo gamers actually bought the Wii. I mean, Mario Kart sold over 35 million, Smash Bros. Sold over 12 million. So clearly people who like Nintendo games bought the Wii. Mario Kart, Mario Galaxy, I think, sold over 7, maybe closer to 10 million. So, yeah, Nintendo gamers, they got their money's worth, very much so, out of the Wii. So, okay, I don't remember where we were, so I'll just go to the next paragraph. Nintendo also seems either unwilling or unable to commit to a quality online experience, as if mimicking the successful model pioneered by their competitors will somehow diminish their Nintendo-ness. I realize they want to maintain a family-friendly image and that the internet, and especially online gaming, is anything but. However, that is what parental controls are for. A darn shame, too, because few multiplayer games demand a quality online experience and community more than Mario Kart and Smash Bros. I see. The main reason why the online experience is so bad is because we weren't able to pay for it beforehand. See, people complain now that we are going to pay for online, yet they still want the same experience that PS4 and Xbox One have. Which is one reason why I feel that paying for online isn't necessarily the worst thing, especially since it's going to be $30 or less. Like, spending a little bit so you can get a much better experience. Because the Wii's online sucked. Smash Bros.'s online was the worst. Like, they shouldn't have even bothered. But the Wii U's, it was better. It was more stable, but it still wasn't good, I guess. It wasn't the best. It definitely wasn't as good as it should have been. Like Mario Kart and Smash Bros, they worked perfectly fine, but there were a bunch of features that just weren't there. But I feel like with Switch's paid for online, you will be able to access those features more readily and or just overall actually have them, period. So let's just sit and wait for the online experience thing. If the Switch's online also stinks, even though we're paying for it, then you can complain. But right now, let's just sit and wait. In defending Nintendo, people often cite that power isn't everything. I couldn't agree more. To me, Wind Waker HD is every bit as visually stunning as Uncharted 4. Perhaps more so. but it matters to third parties. Nobody tells a painter that he is limited on how many colors he can use. When there are 2 other game systems with huge install bases that you can create a game for, do you dumb it down so it works in all 3, or do you realize the full potential of your vision and put the best experience in front as many people as possible? Yeah, I will admit the Switch doesn't appear to be as powerful as even the Xbox One right now, but apparently it is very, very easy to port stuff for. Apparently it takes less than a year to port a PC game to the Switch, and that's if a PC game is already made. It can just be easily ported over in less than a year. So that means that if a game is being developed, it wouldn't take that much more development time just to make a Switch port. And considering most third-party games also come to PC, it wouldn't be that hard just to make one for both. Just saying. Nintend's first-party efforts and IPs are the best games out there, but Nintendo can only do so much. I'll say it now. Again, Nintendo was only able to do so much for their consoles for the past 2 generations because they focused more so on their handhelds. I'll say it again. Now that Nintendo has combined their console and handheld development teams, they're able to put twice as many games out for one system. So, yeah, let's just continue. In the past, we have seen long spans of time between Nintendo releases and the inevitable delays that come from them accepting nothing less than perfection. Long droughts on the console. The 3DS had booming success throughout the years. Like, throughout pretty much every single year, there wasn't a month without at least one 3DS game. The majority of that time, it was a first or second party 3DS game. So, yeah, with 3DS and Wii U development teams both working on Switch, I feel like that gap will be diminished greatly. Maybe 1 month for every year where there isn't a game, or there isn't a big game. But when was the last time we got a proper F-Zero or Metroid? Third-party support is vital to the health of a system, and without it, like the Wii U before it, the Switch will fail. Don't let that graphic with all the third parties that are on board fool you. This is anecdotal, but I seem to remember similar graphics in interviews with developers praising the Wii and Wii U. We all know how much support they received. The Wii U, that graphic that he was talking about, had 16 developers. And they're all the very standard ones, like Capcom, EA, Activision, Ubisoft, just the generic ones you can think of. But the graphic that Nintendo showed right after the Switch was revealed had over 30 game companies and game engines that are working for and on this system. So I'm just gonna say that that's a bigger, what's the word? I have more faith that the Switch's third-party outings will be at least better than the Wii U's. Just throwing that out there. If all those third parties, because like even Bethesda and From Software, they didn't talk anything about the Wii or Wii U, yet we're getting Skyrim, and we very well could get a Dark Souls 3 or even a Dark Souls trilogy. The dude from Software's said that might happen. At least he got Dark Souls 3 working on the Switch. So we very, very easily could get more support on the Wii U. More support than the Wii U. Again, just wait it out. Don't just assume that because the Wii U didn't get third-party support. Again, people seem to forget that the Wii actually got pretty decent support. Well, even though it wasn't necessarily all the time like the standard game, they got a spin-off type game of the same caliber. So when shovelware, HD remasters, and neutered ports of 5-year-old games are the bulk of your library, what does that say about your product? It essentially says that third parties just want to put a couple of games out there, see how it sells, and then see how they want to support it down the line. That's pretty much all it says. Again, third parties were burned by the Wii U because it didn't sell well, but that was because third parties didn't try, making the Wii U not sell well, and so Nintendo had to try everything. But since they couldn't get out games fast enough, it didn't sell well. So third parties were like, okay, we can't do anything to help this. So basically, that circular logic is essentially what made the Wii U well, there were other factors, but that was a large part of what made the Wii U fail. So third parties are being more cautious, but they're being cautious, but they're being a bit more aggressive this time around. It seems Bethesda straight up said no, we are not putting any games on the Wii U. Yeah. But this time, we're getting Skyrim in the fall. Is it August? I think it's August. Yeah, in August. There's autumn. Let's say autumn. Well, sometime later in the year. Regardless, we're getting Skyrim at some point this year, and it's supposedly the definitive edition. If it's not that, then it's just an enhanced port of the PC version. So yeah, let's continue. I hope that the system is as innovative as they seem to think. I want the third parties to see something I don't and bring unique experiences to the platform. I want Nintendo to consistently deliver their beloved first-party franchises in new and exciting ways with a level of quality we have all come to expect. We are in early days, and I hope Nintendo proves me wrong. But every piece of news diminishes that possibility. The charging grip doesn't come with a system. You don't need it. Just put them on the dock, and then when you dock it, put it on. Also, the Joy-Cons last for 20 hours when the tablet only lasts for 5 or 6, 3 to 6. There's no reason why you shouldn't have to. Why you necessarily need it? Like it's convenient, but you don't necessarily need it. The accessory costs, battery life, and weak launch lineup. Weak launch lineup that comes with Zelda and Bomberman and a couple of third-party ports and indie games. That's in March when you don't actually need a good launch lineup. Just saying. And also the accessory costs that you don't actually need to buy right out of the gate. And the battery life, which is actually about the same as the 3DS and the Vita, but it's more powerful than both of those. So it's not necessarily that big of a deal. None of these things you're listing here are necessarily a big deal. And storage capacity, I can understand that. Storage capacity, that is a legitimate complaint. Granted, you don't necessarily need more than 32 right out of the gate, but having more would definitely be nice to have. Radio silence in the virtual console and online experience. Yeah, it would have been nice to know right now what the virtual console is going to be like. But again, the system's not. Yeah, you got me there. Radio silence on virtual console online experience is a bit of an issue right now. But again, just wait and see how it turns out. If it is bad, then complain. But see, the problem is people are just assuming it will be bad, so that's automatically something to complain about. They don't know yet. So these things do not inspire confidence. Everyone has the right to spend their money how they see fit, and I am not here to tell you otherwise. But just to offer an opinion, I cannot trust them on faith alone this time. They have to prove it to me, and I'll vote yes or no with my dollar. Nintendo consistently disappoints their fans by pretending to hear our concerns and then continuing on with whatever wacky idea they have. See, what they don't understand is that Nintendo clearly is listening to their handheld fans. They saw that the 3DS sold over 3 million in the last quarter alone, thanks to Pokemon, amongst other things. It sold great last year and years prior. That close to 70 million install base is what they're focusing on here. They're trying to draw that crowd in. They want to please those fans, while also please the fans who want a powerful home console. So by pleasing both those fans, you're pretty much pleasing every Nintendo fan, and also you're pleasing the ones who liked the Wii with the Joy-Con motion controls. So again, just making that circle of pleasing fans wider. Then when and also like they tried kind of to do that with the Wii U, how they saw that the DS sold amazingly, the Wii sold amazingly, so let's just make a console that works with both of those systems kind of in the same thing. It didn't end up being a success because they didn't utilize it appropriately, but the idea was there to please all their fans. Then, when a console cycle comes to an end and we decide to finally leave Nintendo for good, having been burned one too many times, they dangle the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in our face. The temptation is there, but to go against our better judgment, ignoring the past, gives them license to continue to repeat the same mistakes. Again, I said this in a previous video, what mistakes are they repeating? They're marketing the system way better. They're talking to third parties. They're launching with big games like Legend of Zelda. They brought Bomberman back. I don't understand what these people are thinking of when they're saying they're repeating the same mistakes. If anything, they're making new mistakes, you could argue. But I don't really see them making the same mistakes as before. But whatever. Maybe Nintendo is too prideful to ever go software only, like so many fans desire. So many PS4 and Xbox One and PC fans desire. I know very, very few actual Nintendo fans. Not the people who start the video article off saying, well, I'm a Nintendo fan, but people who are actually Nintendo fans. I see very, very few people even fathom the idea that Nintendo should go software only. Perhaps it will take another Wii U level flop to force them to look into the mirror and confront some harsh realities. Nintendo deserves to fail, and we need to let them. Nintendo deserves to fail, and we need to let them. Yet, you've said in this paragraph beforehand, you're not going to tell us what to do. You're just going to offer your opinion. Yet, we need to let the system fail. I don't know. I just kind of feel like that last paragraph and sentence kind of came out of nowhere. Like, you're offering a lot of points up here about ways Nintendo... I don't know. I just feel like you got a bit too intense there at the end. And got a bit too personal there too, saying that, oh, because I was burned with the Wii U, everyone was burned with the Wii U. Because I think they should go third party, everyone thinks they should go third party. Because I didn't like the Wii waggle, or the Wii gimmick. Everyone didn't like the Wii and Wii U gimmick. Essentially, because I didn't play handheld devices. Handheld devices just don't matter. 3DS and DS and every other handheld system Nintendo's made, that doesn't matter. This system needs to appeal to me. And since it's not appealing to me right now, it deserves to fail. That's essentially what this guy is saying. So, yeah, I think this video is run on long enough. Like, this is a Class A example of someone who is simply just trying to pander to the crowd of people who think that the Switch is going to fail, that the Switch is doing everything wrong, Nintendo should just give up. Like, he clearly went into this article with the intent just to look at everything through a negative lens, look at the worst case scenario, and then write an article about that. But that's apparently what you do now to make money. But yeah, like I said before, if you disagree or if you agree with anything I said in this article, please leave a comment down below. I'd like to have a discussion going. Yeah, like, do you think Nintendo deserves to fail? Like, if anything, I feel like if the system does well, that we should be praising Nintendo for that, because they realize their mistakes with the Wii U and they want to do better by that. But people don't think that way. Oh well. So, yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.